Because you are a chosen race. You are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you will proclaim the wonderful things of him who called you out of darkness into this marvelous light. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Set apart and set aside and do his work and bring him glory. Come on.
I'm not trying to blend in. I'm trying to stand out. I've been set apart for greatness. It's already planned out.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Truth Prevails. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to do a quick video, won't be long, kind of recapping the live show that we had. Was it last weekend or was that Friday? I think it was Friday. Last Friday. Because some information came out about some information that Jehovah Witness, that was on with Jehovah Witness Austin. He gave some information that he knew was wrong. And when the video went up, our sister in Christ, let me pull up her comment. She kind of exposed who this person was. When I looked into it a little bit more, everything started unraveling, and then I saw that, George, and this is why we gotta trust these. We gotta kind of look into these sources, because we know that excuse me, witnesses don't test what they're given. So we have to test what we're given. Brother Jay should be coming on. I'm trying to see where he's at. He should be on shortly. But for those that just came on, I just want to go through a few things with what George said. And the biggest thing, when he was questioned on scholars in the org. So bear with me. Let me pull up my screen. Hello, everybody. Let me see. So the comment came from any Saved by Grace. And that's why I want you guys to know I appreciate all the comments that you give. Like, I learned so much, especially by our sister here. She's always leaving publications, everything, going back, showing the history. Oh, she's a member now too. Oh, amen. But any Saved by Grace said, let me find our comment. One moment. Okay. Right here. Yep. So she says, because when Dave questioned George on a scholar in the organization, I'm going to play it in a second. But this was his response. She was like, oh, is he referring to, I'm going to butcher his name, Ralph Farrelly? She said, yes, he's a Jehovah Witness, or should I say was. He's just been disfellowshipped for his latest book, My Beloved Religion, I think it's called. He apparently spoke out against the governing body. Oh, new member. Oh, thank you for becoming a new member. I thought you already was a member. Appreciate it. What's up, Giovanni? Everybody. So this is what I'm going to be going through what she said. So I saw her comment, and then I started digging into it because I'm like, well, who is this? Hello, hello. God bless. Okay, if anybody wants to become a member, you go to the page. You can click on a video. Let me see if I can show it. Well, even at the top of this video, you see it says join. So you just click join, and then you go to the membership thing. So that's what you need to do if you want to become a member. Let me see. Let me go back. I think Jay just got here.
Hey.
What's up, brother?
Hey, doing well. Hey, we got some good news. I'm hearing that you went on your you look like you went into in spiritual investigative mode.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I was just showing. Because the sister just left it in the comments. That's why the comments is so powerful, because
Okay.
I learn a lot from the comments. People posting publications and
Okay.
let me see. Let me bring it back. So the sister, I was listening. Well, the sister quoted. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "If George is referring to Rolf Ferrilli,
Mm-hmm.
I butchered that name. Yeah, he said he's a Jehovah Witness, or should I say was. He's just been disfellowshipped for his latest book, My Beloved Religion, I think it's called. He apparently spoke out against the governing body in the book. So I said, hold up. Let me go back.
That's fine. Okay, let's look at the times. But yeah, let's go back.
So yes, I went to the timestamp. Let me see. So I got it at where we're about to talk to it.
Okay.
Talk about it. Hold on. Because you guys put him on the spot.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Let me see. So, and this is the thing. This was my thing. And now, and even at the beginning of the conversation, we see that, George and Austin, they just want to prove a point. They want to win a point. Sometimes, we can kind of get into that, but the bigger goal is to plant the seed. We want to plant the seed, right? So that causes him not to want to just say, "Hey, I'm wrong," and maybe I need to look into this, or let me get back to you on that. They always want to give an answer for this. So let's see what he says.
And look at some of his work as it relates to speaking about the organization as a whole.
Mm-hmm. And also that debate with David Barron too.
Yeah,
Did you get a chance to see that, Jay?
George, how many apologists does Jehovah's Witnesses have? George, how many apologists did Jehovah's Witnesses have?
I don't know.
0. How many scholars do they have?
What do we need scholars?
0.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
He said, "Why do we need scholars?"
I don't know. Who needs them? Like, who needs words?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
But see, this is a great question by Dave, because George didn't really want to answer it. He said no, because we know that. That's why. This is why they don't even show their face, because the governing body, even the members, the elders, they don't want them doing what they're doing now.
That'd be bad for business.
Definitely bad for business. So, that's the real reason why he can't really say there's apologists, because they don't even want them debating and doing all that. So there wouldn't be any, and there wouldn't be any scholars.
Hold on.
We don't need scholars, right?
Hold on. No. Listen to the ridiculous statement he's saying. He's asking me, how many apologists do Jehovah Witnesses have? I don't know every Jehovah Witness. There's several. I have several friends that are apologists.
Yeah.
They're one that.
But hold on, so even like since everyone's in unity, if they were apologists, they would like everyone would know about them. So I think his excuse to say, "Well, I don't know every Jehovah Witness," that apologist will probably be on the website.
Mm-hmm.
He would probably be doing articles and doing stuff like
Mm-hmm.
he would be known on the website.
Probably. I mean, if he can rattle off random people that Matt Slick has dealt with on Carm, you would think that he would be able to, go in and speak about these particular scholars that he has this plethora of, without question. He can just he'll be able to access them on the drop of a dime. You would think that would be the case, but
Exactly.
That debunks your point.
Thank
Hold
you,
on.
Giovanni.
Now you're qualifying it. Now he's qualifying it. Hold on. No, I didn't know what you meant. I didn't know what you mean. So there are apologists. So that debunks your point there. And you ask, how many scholars do we have?
Yeah.
I know several scholars that are Jehovah Witnesses.
Name me one.
One, Rolf Forley. How about that?
Who?
Rolf, R-O-L-F, Forley, F-U-R-L-I. Yeah, many public.
What work has he done?
Oh, he had many works. He's a biblical scholar in Oslo.
Okay, name me one of his works.
Oh, hold on. I have several. Hold on.
And he's a committed Jehovah's Witness.
yeah, shout out to Giovanni, because I'm with you, Giovanni.
Okay, so that's so he's speaking about him as if he knows about him,
Mm-hmm.
and he should know his history about him,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he called him out, said he was a Jehovah's Witness, did that. We're gonna see what type of history he has.
Exactly. So then I had pulled up an article.
Okay.
I had did some research, and then I found out that he had been disfellowshipped a year ago. That same guy that he's talking about. Because Annie's comment kind of got me diving in it. So then let me pull it up.
So I'm curious, and I'm not even being trying to be sarcastic or anything. Would his work, if he got this fellowship, would his work then be deemed as apostate literature? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what it comes. And then that becomes a bigger problem because he's an apostate, and you're telling me to go look into his work.
All
right, so this is the article. Hold on. So saying he has been excluded from Jehovah Witnesses. This is from I don't know what country it's from, but it's not the US. Not the US. So he says, like, I can confirm I am now excluded. Says I can't pronounce his name.
Rolf Forley, who for almost 60 years has been a key figure in the Jehovah Witness nationally, internationally. So he says, so this is he's kind of going through it. So so then you're saying he's taking this exclusion calmly. He says usually people would take such an exclusion terribly seriously. Your entire network is gone. Your friends will no longer, let me zoom in a little bit, longer talk to you. But for me, it is not so. I have a worldwide network of researchers and elders who see the problems in the organization. I want to keep in touch with these. So that's these, behind closed door witnesses that know there's something going on, and he's saying it. They're like people. When you usually you get kicked out, they shun you. But yeah, some people are gonna shun me. But he said I got a worldwide network of researchers and elders who see the problem. So it's crumbling from the inside. So I guess they said, okay, so there's a spokesman that says he has no information about a possible exclusion. But then I think it says his local assembly said they talked to his local assembly
and they confirmed it. They said, since this is a publicly known, we can confirm that he is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, this was a year ago, and this happened because of his book, My Beloved Religion. And now the thing is, I'm talking with George because I had a conversation with him today about it. He said he read this book.
Reading apostate literature.
So now he's reading apostate literature, but so he knowingly gave this guy as a reference, said he was a scholar, and good thing he didn't get the answer because Dave asked him, is he in good standing? But he had left.
Yeah, Dave knows the right questions to ask. The right questions to ask.
Yeah, so you gave me someone that's not in good standing, been disfellowshipped for a year, and he's not currently a scholar for the witnesses. And you said he read his book that came out, so you knew this. Right?
And honestly, with the question posed, usually you come with your heavy hitter. You know, you I mean, you're not going to just come with your C squad, or he came with the A squad, and he said, "Oh, I have a plethora of scholars. Oh, look, well, have you heard of?" And like he came with the haymaker. And wait a minute, your haymaker got disfellowshipped?
Yeah. This was the first one that came to mind. Yeah, that's the crazy part, right? And then the craziest part too, because he was like, Dave asked him, show me his work. And he said, I'll be back. He was going. That's if you keep. Well, I kept listening. He was going for like 10 minutes. Came back, asked a different question. He didn't want to jump on. He didn't want to jump back into it.
Yeah.
Because what work can you give us? Are you gonna give us that latest book? Because he knew about the book.
Yeah. Now you really want me to dive in and get into them chapters. As I want to see how is he speaking. I guess. Counter to the governing body. Is he seeing it for who they actually are?
Yeah, that's what it says right here. It says in that book, he what does it says? He criticizes the top leadership of the faith community in New York. He tells that he knew that the exclusion would be the consequence when he published the book. In another article, he said like he wrote to the governing body and said like, "Hey, you guys need to change these things. What you're doing. If you agree to that, I won't put out the book." But they disagreed, so he put out the book. So he already knew what was coming because he already talked to him.
And do we have an idea of when that particular book was published?
I don't. I could probably find out like Amazon.
Okay. I just want to see how close in proximity in time. It might not be around the same time, but the Franz book, the Consequence. Not Consequence or Conscience.
I wonder if it was recent because this article was written in like June of last year, so it probably would have took some time for him to be disfellowshipped. I'm guessing like the beginning of but I have heard about that book.
Okay, because I have this is the crisis of let me get you out there. That's the crisis of conscience. This is by Raymond Franz, and this was
that was a while ago, right?
Yeah, this is 83. First printing was the first paperback was in 84. And then this was coming off the Atlanta presses in 83. So I'm curious to see where what year my man's book was published, because if it was around the same time period, that would have been a serious year, a serious decade, I should say, of people just saying, listen, we're gonna let this truth rain out, and we're gonna see where these chips fall. And
2020.
Oh, his was out in 2020.
2020. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how
Dave.
we doing, guys?
Salute, Dave.
Yeah, it's great to have him in there.
This is you guys are blowing my mind tonight. I knew there wasn't a witness that was at all in any way a scholar, and the fact that he actually left, it just is icing on the cake. Wow.
Yeah. Did you know of this guy before he talked about him?
You know, like seeing this picture now, it rings a bell, but I completely forgot about him, I guess, because it wasn't really that noteworthy. And actually, really is, because when you look at it, here's a Jehovah's Witness that leaves because he's such a good scholarly work. Like, yeah, I mean, I should have written that down and had it tattooed on me somewhere. But yeah, that's big. Well, good find, man.
Yeah, thankfully someone, Annie, saved by grace in the comment section.
Well done.
Yeah, she's a blessing.
Amen.
So hold on, let me pull that back up. Hold up. So yeah, I guess he knew what was gonna happen. That's what he said. He says, "I know what I stand for. I know what I've done." But I guess he still believes in some of the things that witnesses believe. I get like this. He says like someone's asking him, "Are they still the right faith, the correct faith?" And says most of what happens in the organization is good and right, and I agree with everything that has to do with learning. What I criticize in the book is the role that the top management in New York has taken in recent decades.
Interested to read more what he has to say.
Yeah, there's another article. I guess he has a website that he puts up articles and stuff. So I guess he said, someone said, "What would your religious life look like in the future now that you are excluded? My religious life is connected to the one who created us, but it is clear that I would like to have contact with my friends." And then it tells you like Jehovah's Witnesses regulations dictate that witnesses may not greet or talk to, but some still do. He said it's going to happen to me, but I'm positive about all those who are not going to talk to me now. They do what they think is right. And he says the books are banned. He says, in his quote, he says, "Someone wants me out as a significant person. They probably consider me a threat. By excluding me, they are banning my books at the same time. But he says, but I think many witnesses will read them anyway."
Like George.
Exactly. Yep. He said,
wow. I'm still going off that first paragraph. We're speaking about because I thought they would probably just say, thought the excuse might be, well, we can still read his other works. They gave light, during that time period. It was just that last book. But if you read that paragraph right before the last one you read, it looks like they're putting a caveat to everything he has ever written at this point.
Oh yeah, they're gonna throw everything. But that, all right. So it's crazy because George is making some excuses. Let me pull up what George said. Well,
okay.
You want to see what George said, or you want to see what he said about the governing body?
I'm curious what they guys said about the governing body. I mean,
all right, so let me pull that up because he was going in on them. So this is on his website. Let me so I'll skim through this a little bit. So then he's talking about his like personal. He said he's like been in it for 59 years. But one thing was we was talking about the governing body. He says in the 21st century, the members of the governing body have given themselves more and more power, and today the 8 members of the governing body function as a government for Jehovah's Witnesses with unlimited power. They have the power over the teachings, the assets, and the money, and what they write and do cannot be questioned. This is a clear deviation from the original organization of the first Christian congregations. He says the members of the governing body have used their power in many positive ways, but also to introduce many rules and laws that are not based on the Bible. For example, during the last 15 years, there's been a campaign against higher education, and thousands of young witnesses have been pressured not to pursue this kind of education. Thousands of others have been disfellowshipped on the basis of laws that are not based on the Bible. In recent years, I have gulped down a lot of camels, but I have been loyal to the governing body. However, in the last 2 years, the situation has escalated in a negative direction. Therefore, I wrote the book, My Beloved Religion, in the governing body, which discusses several serious wrong actions that the governing body has done and is doing. The book was sent to the governing body, and I wrote that if the governing body would start to do something to address the wrong actions pointed out in the book, it would not be published. That was rejected.
I mean, this is like eerily mirror image of Raymond France.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was saying this today.
I mean, it's really eerily mirror image of how they even went about it. Because even even talking about the 15 years of denouncing type of education, we could look at like Stay Alive Till 75 campaign. They were pushing that, why graduate, sell your assets. And I mean, we could see that. But so this having talked about the last 15 years, kind of crazy, but I'm glad he's voicing it. But yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, so then he starts going into like this fellowship, and let me see. Said, okay, how should a Christian view one who disassociates himself and is no longer a part of the congregation? Because Christians must show love to all persons. They should treat such a person with friendliness and prejudice.
Prudence.
Oh, yeah, prudence.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry. But the governing body of Jehovah Witnesses has a different view. The Watchtower of 15 July 1985, page 31, quotes the Jehovah Witness lexicon, Aid to Bible Understanding. Such ones willfully abandoning the Christian congregation therefore become part of the Antichrist. Then the magazine says a person who had willfully and formally disassociated himself from the congregation would have matched the description of being a deceiver and an antichrist. This means that a person who votes in an election by this one act alone is viewed as one who has disassociated himself from the congregation, and a person who writes a letter saying that he does not wish to be a Jehovah Witness any longer is put in the same group as deceivers and antichrists. This is one of the extreme viewpoints that we find among all the laws and rules that the governing body has created as add-ons to the laws and principles in the Bible. So you're shunned as one that I guess will have committed like a crazy sin, just if you say that I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. So you're shunned.
That's how all cults work. You have to have that level of threat. If you don't have that, people can just come and go as they please. It's keep them in.
Exactly. It says the conclusion is that according to the Bible, a Christian would not have a social relationship with the one who is disfellowshipped, such as sharing a meal with him. But there is no scripture in the Bible saying that we should not greet such a person or speak with him. Persons who have disassociated themselves from the congregation should be treated with love in the same way that Christians treat all persons. Therefore, that the way Jehovah's Witnesses treat disfellowship and disassociated persons is not based on the Bible, but on the decisions of the governing body. It says, I have now been disfellowshipped on the basis of a law that is not based on the Bible, but is made up by the governing body. The reason is that I have written the fermented book where I criticize the governing body for deviation from
the aforementioned. Yep.
Oh, aforementioned. Okay, thanks. Deviation from the scriptures and show that I disagree with its actions. The three elders who made the decision treated me in a cordial way, but none of them had read the book.
Mhm.
This means that whether my criticism was right or wrong
Whew.
was not considered and did not matter.
Uh.
Just the fact that I had criticized the governing body was in their minds reason enough for the disfellowship. That's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, no, evil. Sorry, we're using the wrong word. Evil.
Yeah, real evil. But that I always thought about what is that verse? I think it's like you can snatch someone's soul out the fire. And it's kind of a verse that says like it's kind of hinting that you should try to reach people that have
snatch them out of the fire. Yeah. What is that verse?
This is with a Jude 1. Okay.
Yeah. I was just reading Jude. I should know this.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, Jude 1:23. I stopped at 20. Yeah.
So it says it says have mercy on those who doubt. Save others by snatching them out of the fire. To others show mercy with fear, hating even the garment stained by the flesh. Here's another one, but that like you can't save someone if you don't talk to them.
Yeah.
If you're just cutting them off and just saying, I'm done with you, I'm gonna walk right past you like I don't even see you. How can you help that person? Yeah, I gotta find the other verse.
Now you said that you did have an opportunity to speak with G regarding this already.
Yeah. So hold on, let me pull that up.
Yeah.
Because he had asked me, because now this what was happening, because him and Austin there was messaging me because they were saying because Giovanni had mentioned it too. He said like go deeper. So I'm like, okay. I asked Austin, put together a presentation to show that Michael is Jesus. Okay. So we can go deeper into it. And then he's like, no. Sorry. Then he comes back to me and asks me, okay, are you making money off of YouTube?
That's who's saying this? Austin saying this to you?
Austin asked me, am I making money off YouTube? So I'm like, well, I am. But I'm probably making like a couple dollars off of every video.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't get enough views to be living off this where I can quit my job,
Yeah, I really want to see where he's trying to go with this. So this is Austin's asking you this, right?
Yeah, so now they're saying well, we don't want to come back on because we don't want to support the channel. Because they're thinking I'm making money off them. So they don't want to give my channel any money.
Gotcha. So
I'm like,
well, I mean, that's each his own. Yeah, that's, well,
Yeah, so,
just tell them that all the money you make, you'll donate to the Watchtower Primal Track Society. I mean, all $3 of it. So
yeah, it was like I'm making like thousands of dollars off these videos. So
listen, I think they're gonna bring forth. So I'm curious, if they did it on any platform, how are they? So I'm curious, did they bring up another platform in which to speak to you with?
What they wanted to do is have a private conversation, and I told them
using what platform?
Well, I guess they just don't want me to put it out live or broadcast it to make money.
I'm just saying, regardless of what platform, somebody's going to be making money off of it.
Yeah,
It may not be you, but someone's making money off of it. That's pretty funny, but okay.
Yeah, George does have a YouTube.
Yes, use his demonetize a YouTube channel and do that way. There's ways to do it where you don't have to make any money.
Oh yeah, it's true. I could put that, but that's what I was telling them. My channel is to show witnesses their error, and I'm gonna help Christians out. So if I don't broadcast it, Christ has said, okay, I'm gonna do it privately, but then I'm gonna put it out later when I want.
Yeah.
This is your ministry.
Yeah,
it's no point to it.
I have the right to do that. So that's what I was telling them. He's like, oh no. They're both like, no, let it be private. Do you care about my soul? All this stuff. I'm like,
Oh, I don't mean to laugh. But I'm curious with George. I mean, would he be willing to put it on his YouTube channel?
I didn't ask him that.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, by that point, you would be sharing it commentary wise, which YouTube rules and doesn't restrict you from being able to be a commentor on a stream that has already happened. So that means you're taking a conversation that you've had, pausing it, and then beginning to add your insight or spiritual discernment on what has been discussed within that particular video.
Yeah, he did. He did it on one of the conversations that we had.
Mm-hmm.
When he said the Jehovah Witness against 3 blind mice. Remember that?
Oh
Yeah, the
yeah. I heard about that one. I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's what's up. I think, yeah, we were talking about it's good to be blind. It's like, yeah, you want to walk by faith and not by sight, but
Blinded by the light of Christ in my life. So.
yeah. So I'm trying to get to the top of this conversation. I guess he said that he had mentioned a couple other people. Just from that, I think that clip from I Seen. I don't know if he did. Hold on. Let me see. I gotta refresh this. My computer's going crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to upgrade in a little bit. About to try to change the game. Shout out to Lake if he's watching.
Get a little discount.
Oh no, I'm try to get the discount through my cousin. Yeah, he's working with Vice, and I'm like, praise the Lord.
God, my computer froze. Hold on.
He's frozen.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my computer froze. Hold on. This is crazy. But I'll be right back.
Okay. Can you still hear me, Dave?
Oh, I can hear you. I guess you can still hear me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we were looking at before we even began, we were looking at your line of questioning to G, and we were like, man, Dave hit a home run on these on these questions.
The spirit was alive that night.
Amen. I mean, for you to be led to say, does this scholar that you're giving us, is he in good standing? And we wound up realizing, like, he never responded to you to that particular inquiry. No. And I can see why.
Yeah, here I am completely ignorant of it. I mean, it's kind of cool to see how the spirit works. I didn't remember even saying that, but it was just that constant questioning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, with when Ryan hit me up and let me know that he said, "Yo, man, people just kept giving us a little bit of information, and we went down this rabbit hole, and he's like, yo, we have to have a show." I was like, yo, I'm gonna try and make it there and get it on there. Didn't realize it was this magnitude of information. No. Like, wait a minute.
It would have made it so much sweeter if any of us had known that beforehand and been able to use it right on him at that moment. But just fuel, like, for each of us. I mean, just in conversation, as whenever witness we want to meet, and that's going to come up one time of, oh, well, you don't have any. We have scholars. Name me one, and hopefully one day, and by the Lord's will, that name drops, and we go, oh no, that man's an apostate. Why are you dropping a name? Like, so if not used for George, it'll be used in the future.
Most definitely, and I'm loving how that you held him accountable, at least for what he was presenting as quote unquote truth. He's like, okay, well, oh, really? You got some scholars? Let's get some names. Okay, he giving us some names. Okay, let's talk about some of the work that they've been involved in. Okay, let's find out their status and their role in the organization. Well done. I mean, that's how you're gonna do it. If you're gonna chop down the foundation of organizations that are preaching counter to the gospel, then this is the way to do it. Well done.
Yeah, it's Mormons have their own apologists. Muslims have their own apologists. Every group I know has their own apologist. And especially in smaller groups, when they do have one, everyone knows who they are because they pretty much worship that guy. That's their one guy, and they know his work. They know everything. But with witnesses, I knew better. I'm like, they don't have any apologists. They don't have any scholars. They don't have anybody. They have a guy that goes on the news. Can't remember what's his name. That always say, "Oh, great, we're having a convention on Zoom. Isn't this great? It's surely God's organization because we're all gathered on Zoom, even though every other church in the entire world's open." So I knew something was wrong when he's like, "We have a scholar." Hey, no, I don't know everything, but I know you don't have a scholar.
Hey, I heard that.
My witness friend contacted me tonight and gave me Saturday's part 2 of the witness convention, and I watched it finished about 15 minutes before I noticed you guys were on, and I was taking notes. And if you've watched it yet, the last half made me extremely angry because it's pretty much says, "Don't watch the news." And if you hear anything negative about witnesses, it's not true. And if you hear anything positive, it is true. It blows. John Cedars already did a thing on a little bit of it. I saw about 5 minutes of it, but I watched the whole thing. And man, that is like cult 101. I've never seen it that bad before. That is a blatant. When David Spillane was doing it, very blatant.
All right, can you guys see that?
Oh yeah.
All right, so I guess he gave me some names in a different chat, but then I told him the scholar you gave me, he's been disfellowshipped. And his response is yes, but he still believes in the organization.
No, it doesn't.
So as I said, so you're okay with praising and quoting apostates? And he says he's not an apostate. Learn what the word means. So, but
I knew he was going to do it. Start that game.
Yes, I said, why did he get this fellowship? He got this fellowship for criticizing the governing body, and what they're saying that what they teaching is not based on the Bible. That's going against them. So he said, you don't know or read any of his material and like always rely on secondary information. I didn't give him anything, so he's just saying that. He said, we do not mind helping each other. I said, why? And that's why I keep asking him, why did he get this fellowship? I said, please enlighten me. He said he wasn't attacking the organization. He was disagreeing with the governing body, and he already knew the consequences. So was he attacking? He's attacking the governing body, saying you guys are wrong, change this or not. I said, what were the terms to be disfellowshipped? I said, like, I have to ask 5 times for a clear answer, because they jump around. It's like he doesn't just give you a clear answer.
Sheesh.
Yeah. She's like, how many times do I have to ask?
Can you scroll up Can you scroll up for 1 second? I just want to see if his explanation of why you shouldn't. Wait, one more. He says he's not an apostate. He says why did he get the fellowship? Okay. Oh, can you go up one more? I apologize.
Hold on.
I just want to see what excuse he gave you. It sounded like he said he wasn't talking about. Okay, yeah. He says yes, but he still believes in the organization. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you consider the governing body to be part of the organization?
Yeah.
So if I disagree with the governing body, how is it that I still believe in the organization? So that's kind of my big question. Okay, but let's continue.
It's like chewing the meat and spitting out the bones. Like,
yeah.
So that's what he says. He said attacking is what you do. He just disagreed. There's a big difference. Hold on. So I'm not even gonna say all that. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah. He said you're making things up that isn't true. So I said, should you be referring people to his work? Would the governing body approve? He said, I would certainly refer people to his work.
This guy's rogue.
This is not rogue, right? So he said, I said, why? So why did the governing body ban all of his books? I said, that's crazy. That you're okay reading apostate literature. That's what you said, Jay, right? So he's reading apostate literature, and you're okay with that. So this shows how naive you are. What is an apostate? If someone is given evidence showing the reliability of the New World Translation, is that an apostate?
Answering a question to something else. We talking about this brother right here.
Yes, I said someone spreading views that disagree with what the governing body has dispensed. That's kind of what apostates is, many definitions. So I said he didn't get this fellowship for critiquing the New World Translation. It was about the governing body. I said, have you read his own article on it and see what the interview he did? He said, he said there's a difference. There's a difference disagreeing and attacking. He said you asked about sharing his material when it said if it's okay to read apostate literature. Yeah, but you're sharing apostate literature.
Didn't answer the question, did he?
No.
Well, here did he? Back to the old blah blah blah.
Yeah. So I told him, I said you must have read it before you shared it, and as a witness, you can't disagree with them. I didn't compare because he keeps comparing myself to. He keeps saying, "Well, you're attacking, he's disagreeing." But that's why I said I didn't compare myself to him. So why you keep making the comparison? I'm saying about what you're doing. I said it doesn't matter if you attack or disagree. You saw the consequences. You're gonna be disfellowshipped either way. So you're sharing an apostate's work to people you want to follow your religion and follow the same men that this scholar disagrees with. Does that make any sense?
No.
No. You want me to follow these men, come under their teachings, and you want me? You're giving me a guy's work that says don't do it. You're doing unbiblical stuff.
It's sad. I mean, we laugh, but it is sad. That's how his mind works. That's how far he has to go to justify it.
It's crazy.
It's sad.
So that's what I said. Or you gave me his name thinking no one would look into it because you would ask to give one reference of his work, and you never came back with any. You knew if you came back with his book, people would figure out who he was. That's it. So be careful who you recommend, or you can lead people astray. You wouldn't give your elder his work.
Well said. Well said.
Because that's what even like Christians. The big thing with me is music. Because people come to me for music, and even with artists, they might be a Christian for a couple months and then go back into the world, and then you kind of have to be careful who you recommend because people may say they're gonna have that confidence because if they trust you and you're giving it to them, that person might lead them astray.
Yeah.
Even with music, some Christians cussing in music, or some Christians go back into the world and start drinking. If I recommend that person and that person's truly not grounded and solid, I feel a certain way because I might lead someone astray.
I find it weird how he says it's the difference between disagreeing and attacking the governing body. I mean, technically, we are disagreeing with the governing body. I mean, we disagree with them about everything, but he would equate that to attacking. We're not saying, hey, these men are old and frail. I mean, we're not saying that. We're saying, no, they're wrong about this and this. We're disagreeing with their doctrine. So when he says attacking, he's just trying to make us look like we're the bad guys and that they didn't do anything wrong and that we're big meanies just pointing the finger. That's not it at all.
Yeah, he's just looking at he's just looking at the glass the way in which he wants to look at it. Yeah, it's half full. It's half empty. That's basically at the end of the day, he's like, oh yeah, y'all are half empty. That's why. Like, exactly. Oh, really?
So he said, why do you think about Jehovah Witnesses? They don't dictate what we can and can't read.
Oh.
Do you know the difference between demanding and recommending? So I asked him, you can read apostate literature. Guy went on the website and they say it's not good to do it because if you do it, you're going to be led astray. But we know if your elder sees you doing that, or if you're sharing something with someone, you would definitely get sat down and be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Everything good? They're going to be asking you that.
Inquiring minds do want to know.
Yeah, David Splain just talked about it for about a half hour about how much apostate stuff was poison and you shouldn't listen to it. And what I had to quote him, it is critical. Oh man, yeah. I'm not saying watch it because it's mind numbing, but
no worries.
It really is such a direct way to say, don't listen to the news, don't read anything that's contrary to what we give you. And if you do, it means you're spiritually weak. And of course, Armageddon's coming any second. And if you're spiritually weak when Armageddon comes, so best not have any sort of doubts and just believe what you're told.
It reminds me of that the acronym BITE, where organizations deal with behavior, information, thought, and emotions, and like all of that kind of wrapped up in just quote unquote suggesting. I can suggest a lot of things in order to control those 4 areas of an individual and make it seem like, oh well, I still have, I still want you to have the flexibility to do as you please, but that's the better way to really have control is actually make people feel like like they have a sense of autonomy when they really don't. That's the grand illusion is what I call it.
All right, it's here. Look at research. We encourage research of all witnesses and research just our publications. Well, that's not research. That's just you giving me something to read. It's okay. We've done the research for you.
Excuse me. Is that from jw.org? Okay, no. It's not from. It's not from jw.org. Got to do away with it. Got to. Away you go.
So he says, when I told him you must read it before you share it, that comment, he says, Ralph Furley promotes the organization and recommends to stay in his book, My Beloved Religion. He says, Ryan, you're making yourself look ignorant at this point. Please stop. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, boy.
Ad hominems. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so this is like you already show him it, and now I gotta like sit him down like a little kid and say, now break it down again step by step. So that's what I asked him. Does he disagree with the governing body in his book? So he goes back to a different comment. Can he read apostate literature? He says, yes, we can, but it's not recommended. Greg Stafford quoted apostates during the time when his book came out, and he had 3 editions, and guess what? Nothing happened to him. He was in good standing during his publication.
Well, yep. Continue to apply that pressure.
Yeah. So he said, did he disagree with the governing body in his book? And he said, what did he disagree about the governing body? So I'm like, did you read that book? Because even little what I read, that was he. And I guess in the book he goes into more detail. So that's why I'm trying to keep asking him the same question, because that's they go off in tangents. So he says, I asked him that again, so he replies. He says, oh, so when I said that you gave me his name thinking no one would look into it, he says, I was ready to cite several scholars, but the argument was changed, and you can clearly hear me say, let me address Dave, but I was interrupted. You're just amazing with your blindness. I didn't hear him say that. When he came back, and it's crazy because if I play that back, when he came back, he's the one that changed the topic.
Yep.
He changed it.
Well, if he's going to address me and give me more scholars, why isn't he giving you that right now? Like, shouldn't he just go, whoa, that's not the only one, dude. Let me give you this whole thing. Instead, he's staying on the one guy who he's now completely contradicting every single watchtower out there, saying, no, it's okay to read apostate material. It's okay, I disagree with the governing body. It's okay. Like, dude, you know better. Like, I don't know what fantasy world you're living in, but you are completely delusional at this point, just so you're right.
That's what he keeps it nice saying. You tell me what did he disagree about? So now he's trying to put the burden of proof on me. I mean, the article says it, and he said, did you even go back to listen to the conversation? I wanted to cite the scholars and named in the name of their books as Dave requested, but I didn't get the chance because I was interrupted. That's a lie. So then Orson jumps in and says he does not want us to agree with the faithful slaves. That's his argument. So I'm saying, no, I'm saying this guy, the scholar, he criticized their role that they have taken in the recent decades, and they kicked him out. So that was a reason why he was disfellowshipped. I said, no, George is telling me to read people's books that tell me that the governing body isn't the faithful slave. So I don't want you guys to follow him. I would come to that conclusion if I read the guy that George is referring. So I said, don't run to the other scholars when you're getting put on the spot for lying about Rolf, lying that Rolf isn't a Jehovah Witness scholar. I said, just say you take it back. It's okay. You know what I mean? Just say it. Just say, you know what? That was my bad. I know he's not in good standing. I probably shouldn't have, put him out there. That's all you had to say.
That would take humility.
Yeah. He doubled down. So then was it Austin said they had when I said that George is telling me to read his books, he said they asked him if there are witnesses that are scholars, and he proves you they are. I'm surprised you did not say they had to be born again. So I said no. He didn't prove anything. He lied and gave someone that was disfellowshipped like no one would know. And I told him, you guys forget that God is watching your actions and thoughts. He sees George lie, and I pray that he repents. And he says, what do you call a lie? I said, he said that Ralph was a Jehovah Witness scholar, and he isn't. Ralph is being shunned right now. He's not no scholar for the organization. He's in Shuntown right now.
Sorry about that.
So he said, so I guess he's replying to my comment about why he was disfellowshipped. George says, yes, and there's more to it. He was trying to force the governing body to listen to him and become he is a bona fide scholar. He thought he should be listened to, but the governing body doesn't care about credentials. There's more to the story than you think, but you're too blind to listen to anyone who disagrees with Jehovah's Witnesses. But I told him, that doesn't change the fact that you lied. You said he was a scholar in good standing, and you personally knew he wasn't. I told him, you need to repent for that and honestly come out and admit you shouldn't have given his name. That's why he'll jump on something no one's talking about. He jumps on that point that no one's talking about. It has nothing to do, not the main focus of the conversation, to not say he's wrong. Yeah. This whole time you could have said I'm wrong. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Go straight to the straw, man.
So he said, you're twisting what I said. The overwhelming information in his book is Jehovah Witnesses is a true religion. I would recommend it to someone, but with caution, just like any other book.
Like any other book.
I give you the Bible.
So like studies in the scriptures, you need to caution that. Inspiration in the scripture, you need to caution that one too, or are you going to just say, no, this is the truth?
Yeah. That's kind of, if you have caution, I wouldn't recommend the book at all. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend you a book there's no caution at all. I can give to you in good faith.
Zero
comprehensiveness. Yeah, just imagine as Christians. So here's a great book about Christianity. However, the guy is atheist now, so take some of that into consideration. And don't read the last 5 chapters where he denies Jesus. So man, those are great. Those are awesome.
That's like telling a kid don't touch the stove. What they gonna do? They're gonna go right to it.
And honestly, I was that hard-headed kid that did that. Don't touch the iron. Wow, touching it.
So someone's not founded, deeply rooted. That might lead them astray. That's why you don't do that. So he said that I told him he's replying to the comment about doesn't change the fact that he lied that said he was a scholar. So he said, I said he was in good standing. Show me where I said he was in good standing. He didn't say that. I'll tell you that, but that's why I replied to him.
Wait, what? Wait, is he trying to turn the table? He's trying to turn the tables around. You saying that you're lying now?
Yeah, because he's saying, I didn't say that he was in good standing. He said. So he says, did you read this Austin? How Ryan is lying. Ryan at the time he was a Jehovah's Witness when he wrote the book My Beloved Religion. He was not disfellowshipped for writing a book, as George mentioned. He was disfellowshipped for writing the book. So I said, go watch the video. So that's a 250 mark. But I said that's what the bigger question is. Why would you even mention someone who isn't in good standing? So you didn't say he was in good standing, but you knew he wasn't in good standing, and you still mentioned him.
That's how desperate he is.
Yeah, so I'm like,
this is really how desperate he is for any intellectualism whatsoever. They will just contradict themselves. They'll talk about apostates as if they're okay because, well, they're disagreeing, not attacking, and I guess it's okay now. This is how sad this religion has become.
Yeah.
you know, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is it wrong to lie to others who perhaps are not in or associated or affiliated with the organization? Is it okay to lie to outsiders?
That's a good question.
I someone probably has it in the comment section, but I believe there was a publication that did say that.
I if I'm not mistaken, I can look at the Insight book, and they gave a kind of a shaky definition of what a lie is. You know, I'm gonna see if I can look for it while we continue reading. But I'm pretty sure it's okay to lie to people that are not in the organization.
Yeah.
Let me see if I got it. Wow, I think I got a bookmark with the word lie on it.
Oh, man.
Perhaps that was it. The definition. This is coming from Insight on the Scriptures. It says lie. The opposite of truth. Lying generally involves saying something false to a person who is entitled to know the truth. And doing so with the intent to deceive or injure him or any other or another person. So in the world of understanding what God revealed to us as it relates to all liars will not inherit the kingdom of God.
All liars have their place.
They're all going to have their place. They're going to find their place. Here we recognize a liar is lying generally involves saying something false to a person who is entitled to know. So in their world, there's certain people who are not entitled to know the truth, which opens the door for flexibility in order to lie to someone. So
this is a wordplay.
Yeah, this is like how the Muslims deal with taqiyya.
Yep.
Taqiyya is another form of a nice little flexibility where they have the ability to lie to you. So I want to see how comfortable he is using, throwing the word lying at people, especially when he is, in all intents and purposes, caught out there lying. Wow, that's wow.
Yeah, that's what happened too. You wasn't. I don't think you couldn't make. You didn't make that show. I think I called you last minute when George came on, and I called him up in that because he was talking to Fabian, and he was talking about New Light, and he wouldn't call it false, the old light. He said it was inaccurate.
Of course.
So I said, let's look up what the word inaccurate means, and it means false. So they play these little tricks.
Yeah.
Try to get around it. I even had, I don't know if he's an elder, but I had people tell me they don't count time. Oh no, we don't count time. Don't. And it's just like you're lying. So they lie to you.
I will say, all my studies of witnesses, they are, to give them credit, and I don't like to, is they are experts at the word game. Like whether it be the New World Translation or the inaccuracies versus falsehoods, are they actually worthy of knowing the truth? Entitled to it. It's those little subtleties that are just enough to manipulate you and turn the other way. And I'll say that they are really, really good at that. And that is that's something to watch for and something to know. That's how devious you are when you do that. You have to take thought in saying, I want to manipulate just a little tiny bit to purposely swing it my direction. That's not just an accident. That's purposeful.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I call it the kings of subterfuge and obfuscation.
All right. So, and if you remember when he gave the name, he kind of gave a little smart remark like, oh, how's that, Dave? How's when he gave this name. So he was confident in this name. So I said, when I told him to go, and I asked him why would he give someone that wasn't in good standing, he said because his material endorses the scholarly material. What is his material? Endorse scholarly material. Now, do you have to say? What do you have to say? I guess he I guess he's a scholar. So I said, that's like you said, Dave. That's like me giving you a book of someone who used to be a Christian but now still believes it, but got kicked out, and it's just now is in sin, or not even sin. Well, it's weird. It's weird to kind of try to put it in a Christian way, because he's just denying. Yeah, just denying. See, I'm a Christian, but Jesus isn't God.
Read this book. Didn't rise from the dead. Whatever. You pick your poison.
Yeah. So then I asked him, are his books banned currently by the governing body?
Mm-hmm.
So Austin says he was in good standing when the book was written. Governing body does not reveal why a person was disfellowshipped. As George points out, there is more to the story. He sure prove you wrong on Jehovah Witness scholars. These comments is crazy. So then George says,
scholar? Does he spelled scholar wrong? I mean,
I don't, because does it matter if he was in? Well, he wrote it in good standing, but he knew what was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, okay, how does that make it right?
And he's missing the biggest overarching thing. He's giving you one. Like, this is supposed to be God's organization, the greatest minds that God has ever put together on this planet, and they have not even a whole scholar in the last 120 some odd years. Really? Come on, George. Like, this is supposed to be it. Like, this is supposed to be the creator of all the universe, the one that sits enthroned in glory, and he has a special organization of people, and none of them apparently can read Hebrew and Greek.
Oh.
Makes sense. So then George comes back and says, so I said, like, so that's like me giving you a Christian a book that the person leaves. And he says, yes, and if the information is accurate, why not? Should we remove the Book of Solomon because he turned away from Jehovah? Answer yes or no. I'm like, what? That has nothing to do.
Come on now.
With the situation. I didn't even answer that because I'm like, that makes no sense. That's trying to change the topic.
Oh, it totally is.
So that's why I replied back to Austin. And I said, the guy did an interview explaining it all. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you have to research it. Like, the guy literally says, the book is what kind of got me excluded, and he knew it. He said, I wrote to him. I said, change this, or I'm going to put this out. So he kind of played it. He kind of called their bluff. And they kicked him out. So then I said, the George answered my question if his books are banned by the governing body. And he said, the governing body doesn't ban books. You know nothing about Jehovah Witnesses. And he said, Austin, are you reading this? Are you here? So this is where he kind of gets all tangled up, because now who banned the books? So I said, okay, so you're saying his books aren't banned to be read? So he says he replies to a different comment. So I asked him, I asked him again, so are you saying the governing body doesn't ban books? Then who bans them? So he said, name one book the society banned and cite the Watchtower.
Well, the Bible.
So they're telling me to go. So I said, okay, you're double talking. Is it yes or no? Do they ban books or not? So then he said he feeds from JW Facts and other apostate sites too. I said, there's truth on there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
No, it's not truth. But David explains that there was no truth on there.
Yeah. Throw their answer right back to him. Yeah.
So I guess so I said, so why did he say his books are banned? He says, show me a Watchtower article or publication where we ban books, and I can show you on our website where the governing body doesn't. And he said, who said books are banned? And then Austin says his logic again, he does not understand recommend and ban. He said, Pearlie said his books are banned. If he said that, then he knows that's not true. I also have him as a friend on Facebook. So I'm going by what he said. I said, I guess he's lying. You referred me to a liar. Because in the article, he says my books are banned. And I'm gonna pull it.
Well done, dude. Well done.
He said, Austin said, that's your way out. And he says, I don't take your word for it. You must have misquoted him. You're good at that. I said, go read the article. He says, send me the article. So I put the quote.
You are going in on this one.
Yeah. So, because then they send me an article from jw.org.
Of course.
That says, does Jehovah Witnesses ban certain entertainment? So it says it doesn't. They said they don't do it, but they kind of give you recommendations to don't do it. Don't listen to it. Don't watch it. Don't do it. So I said, okay, then the Furley guy's lying. Because he's saying that ban, the governing body said he doesn't ban them. So you're saying he's a good person. You recommended me to him, so now you recommended me to a liar. Caught himself, put him, jump right in the hole. Right? So he said, I have to read what he said. So I said, let me see. So he says the book is not banned. So he does mention his book being banned, but that's not his personal opinion, but the individual witnesses, but not as an organization. Nowhere does he say that the organization banned his book. So I said, he's wrong about his book being banned. He says, I cannot read it in English. Okay, because the website, you had to translate it. So he says, but the Watchtower does not ban anyone's book. That in itself violates the law to a degree. I think since the book may contain apostate views, many witnesses may refuse to read it. We do not ban books. So I said, he said, as an individuals, he is not wrong. As an organization, he doesn't mention, as you claimed, again, this is what you call interpolation.
Interpolation.
You're adding something that isn't there. In fact, he even says some witnesses will still read it because they're rogue. They're rogue witnesses, like George. So I said, I added that his books are banned. I thought he said it. So he said this really. So then he goes, then he switches his whole argument to say, well, this is not him speaking in the article.
He may have just been paraphrasing.
Yeah. So he says this really isn't a quote from him. The writer of the article may have just been paraphrasing too, because it's not in quotes. At any rate, like I said before, if it's not written by the Watchtower Society, then I won't believe what another individual says. And in this case, the Watchtower officially made the claim the society bans his books. I said the article states who speaks at what time, right? So I said him and the reporter. So did I put the let me click this picture. Because I'm gonna have to bring up the let me bring up the article again really quick. I'm so excited. Let me see.
He just jumps to one excuse to the next, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't say that. Well, he didn't really mean to say that. Well, it's not really in quotations.
Yeah. So it jumped. It went from, he still believes in the organization. First, he was a scholar. Then he believed in the organization. Now his books. Then it's not him. So when he says it right here. He says, someone wants me out as a significant person. They probably consider me a threat. By excluding me, they are banning my books at the same time.
Yeah, brother. Man, listen, you better go on it.
Like, how do you?
That's the reporter saying that now.
That's what I said. What sense does that make for the reporter to say that?
Oh, Mr. Bojangles, he's tap dancing over there.
You think they read the Bible the same way?
They do.
I mean, yeah, that's why Scripture is just completely lost to them, because they'll read Revelation 22:12 and 13 and say, "Oh, look, the speaker's changed," or John 20:28. Oh, it really doesn't mean that. Now he stopped speaking and then shouted to God. Like, there's, no matter what you do, there's always going to be this manipulation somewhere just to prove they're right.
Yeah, that's what he said. He says, excuse me. He says, There's not like quotations when he spoke. I mean, the paraphrase. So I sent it to him, and then he sends me, dashes versus quotes.
Wait,
This is silly.
So then he goes into the grammar. He says in grammar, the dash is out of the sentence. It means it's not a direct quote.
And the reporter, is he Scandinavian?
I don't know.
Because that's what I thought. That was what I was getting out. I mean, because it sounded like, you had to do a little something for, in order to get it translated into English.
Yeah.
If there's any manipulation of, just getting it into different languages.
Norwegian.
So I would love to see how they go about, and I take it this would be considered what, a news article.
Yeah.
I would look. I wouldn't be surprised if we were to look at other news article sources from this, from that region, and they most likely may do the same thing. So you applying what we do here in the States versus somewhere else,
exactly,
might be problematic.
That's what I told him. I said, if you look at the whole article, you can tell when he's being quoted. And I said, are you trying that hard to say it's not him? Like, first it was him, now it's not him. You're going through all this. I was like, you don't have to, it's already there. You don't have to defend it, because there's other websites that are talking about it and doing so this is not the only source that we have. He's acting like this is the only source that I have. So he's like, is that a dash or a quote? This is from the original article. So answer, is this a dash or a quote? I said, they're quoting them. Why would the writer of the article say that?
Yeah.
Like, really? Like really?
Really? I can confirm. And I love how you reiterate it. Yeah, I can confirm that I am now excluded from Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah.
And there's no quote there. And it's saying, this is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. So
and we will put it still in quotes. There's no quote. So that's the style of how they're writing it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to take it from their view and try to look at it through ours. And you can't do that. So I said, and he said, I said she's paraphrasing, not quoting. Are you going to answer or not? Well, hold on. If I'm paraphrasing you, am I quoting you? If I'm saying, oh, Jason said that, he's going to be here tomorrow. Well, I'm kind of quoting what you're saying. It's still your words.
Yeah.
So I said, that's how they did it the whole article. This is sad what you're doing. I said, you don't have to defend it. It's okay. I said, just move on. What other scholars did you quote? So he says, did you see quotes there or not? This is exactly people like you, how you get misled. And I said, okay, George, he said, I want you to answer, is that a quote? So he's sticking on this.
Yeah. Because that's the only piece of light he sees. Yeah.
Yeah, so I said it's a quote from a news company in a different, probably a country that writes different than the U.S. Do you want me to find another article where he's saying the same thing? I could find one. So I want you to show me a quote and show me in no way that they are different from English when it comes to quotes.
Man, this is ridiculous.
Wow. See, I knew he was going to go that route. That's what I mean. I'm learning the way in which he unfolds these pitfalls. So he's going down this road. He's about to go down this road about how they break down things in Norway. Oh, this is unbelievable.
That's why I told him. I said, I'm not doing all that. I said, it's true. Now move on. I said, you're wrong. You're just wrong. This you're doing all this to admit you're wrong. I said, just cut it out. It's silly what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're gonna do all this. This is silly. So then he's laughing, saying I can't say it's a quote. He goes, so then I sent him the one from actually his website, what we were just reading earlier. And I said, now go to this website where he claims the governing body is making unbiblical rules. Let's see what you can make up. I'm waiting. So he said, so you point out the second article was to prove his books were being banned, or there is no quotes or dashes. What argument are you making? Yeah, he's still on that.
So inconsequential. I mean, goodness.
Yes, I said, he said, I read his book. I'm aware of what he thinks. So I'm like, so you're aware. Why'd you even, you should have never mentioned him.
He didn't read his book.
Yeah, they
Let's
agree.
look at ourselves. He didn't read his book. I can't trust it. I mean, George, no one can trust what you say because
Yeah.
of what the absurdity of your arguments.
Exactly. So hold on. So let me skip all this. I don't think I was.
Some witnesses. Yeah.
So this he was talking about the New World Translation. I misquoted him and I took it back. So I'm like, I guess I said that he was talking about that he got disfellowshipped for talking about the New World Translation. I guess he said that I was looking at the wrong comment. So I'm like, you know what? I take that back. So then he said, okay. So I said, he's saying I don't know the full story. And I'm like, but we do know we know why he got disfellowshipped, So then I quoted something from it, and then Austin. So I think that was, yeah, that's mostly, I think that's it. But yeah, we see the lengths of what they have to do to lie, and it's crazy.
All right. You know me. I sometimes, I can't allow things to die out. I'm gonna put this in the private chat. Did you guys get that one?
Wait.
It's Norwegian punctuation.
I mean, I have to now. I mean, I can't not.
Oh, let me pull this up.
Okay, let's read it together because it says most of the time punctuation in Norwegian seems pretty much the same as in English, but here's two things that stick out for me. And they show these instead of the double quotation marks, it's the use of, I'm going to go in further into this. This may not be the real answer, but I'm going to pull this thread. I want to pull this thread, and I think I'm going to continue to try to pull this thread to find out more about this punctuation. This is my first piece of string that I'm pulling on. I'm gonna return back to this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we obviously see that there's differences.
Yes.
And for him to just try to jump on that because he knew he was wrong. He shouldn't. At the end of the day, he shouldn't have given his name. And let me just play it again. I just want everyone to see how confident he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he threw the haymaker.
That was his haymaker. That was his haymaker.
How many apologists did Jehovah's Witnesses have?
I don't know.
0. How many scholars do they have?
What do we need scholars?
0.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Austin is hilarious.
We don't need scholars, right?
Hold on. No, Austin, listen to the ridiculous statement he's saying. He's asking me how many apologists do Jehovah Witnesses have. I don't know every Jehovah Witness. There's several. I have several friends that are apologists.
Yeah.
That debunks your point. Hold on. Now you're qualifying it. Now he's qualifying it. Hold on. No, I didn't know what you meant. I didn't know what you mean. So there are apologists. So that debunks your point there. And you ask, how many scholars do we have?
Yeah.
I know several scholars that are Jehovah Witnesses.
Name me one.
One, Rolf Forley. How about that? Rolf, R-O-L-F, Forley, F-U-R-L-I. He had many public.
What work has he done?
Oh, he had many works. He's a biblical scholar in Oslo.
Okay, name me one of his works.
Oh, hold on.
It would have been a good time to say that.
Hold on.
He's read his book. You should know better.
Yeah. He could. I mean, it would have been a great
like that.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah, Yeah, he could. I mean, he would have been able. I mean, it would have been a great time to say about that. To talk about the book that got him, disassociated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might have been a good one to drop that title. But I love. He gave you the catch you outside. Like, how about that? He hit you with that one, and then he hit you with the he hit you with the Carlitos way. He said, "I know many connected people." like, he's like, "Oh, I know many scholars." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, Carlito. All right,
Mm-hmm.
I got you."
Yeah. So let me play his response when he came back, just so we can hear. He was going for 10 minutes. He was going for
he was.
Wow.
He was going for 10 minutes.
That you need to actually, you need it in order to placate all of the various times that you have uttered this notion that these men and women are actually part of the 144,000. That's problematic on many levels.
Yeah, I think he's going.
Well, yeah. Would you agree, Jay, that that's only your opinion? There are other.
Listen, we need you to get back to this.
So he comes back and asks a question.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you better go on ahead. Nobody answering no more questions. Or you supposed to come back with a homework assignment, and you coming up here talking about your dog ate it, or you want to talk about something else? Nah, dude. Mm-mm.
But he was saying he came back and was interrupted. He said, I was gonna give these scholars. I was about to cite them, but I was interrupted. He wasn't interrupted.
He got interrupted by himself.
It's so sad when you, as a Christian, if someone says, "Name me a biblical scholar," you go, "Where do I start?" Like, I don't know if I could name enough between now and the next year, and not just right now. I mean, for the last 2,000 years. I mean, how many people devoted their entire lives to this? You have people who, 90 years did nothing but study, even just Romans. You have monks who just studied one book of the Bible their entire lives. And now we're supposed to go, hey, how many do witnesses have? Oh, well, several. None. But that's okay. We're definitely the truth. I love what was it, Austin's comment. What do we need scholars for? To confirm. How do you know that we've now Jehovah's been removed from the manuscript evidence? How do you know that if you don't have any scholars to actually look into that?
Exactly.
That's that. Yeah.
Man, Dave, you're asking for proof. Stop it. Like,
I know. It's completely blind faith. Don't ask for evidence. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was talking to Austin because they try to say, we're the ones going out door to door, and that's why I put my foot on this neck, because I'm like, well, first of all, you guys the other sheep were never commanded to go out. That command was given to the anointed. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of been delegated to the other sheep when the governing body, well, if they're the anointed, all these anointed should be going out and preaching. So by the time you're doing it in vain, where's it in the Bible? And then, they quote verses that are talking to the anointed. Matthew 28, go and make disciples. Who's Jesus talking to? To the disciples, to the apostles. He's not talking to, that wasn't given. And the excuse is always, well, it couldn't be done with just the anointed. So they would need more people, but that's putting the assumption.
Oh yeah, show me that in the scriptures. Show me that they needed to outsource this
yeah.
I'm just gonna keep it in the organizational business settings, casual Friday. So we said, you know what, we all need everybody to come on in with shorts and comfortable shoes so we can just delegate the tasks out to everyone.
It's great argumentation to use when they say the born again. He was just talking to the anointed right there. I mean, you could say, no, he was just talking to Nicodemus. Only Nicodemus. But then you just apply, like you said, Ryan, just apply Matthew saying, oh, well, you don't have to go witness because that just applies to them. No, it means everybody. So it means everyone there, but it doesn't mean everyone there. What part of Scripture implies it's just talking about a certain amount of people?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the excuse, you know.
That word
But
all, boy.
yeah, because then they're assuming it's only 144,000, and they need more help. But if there's no limit on it, and there's millions of born again Christians, we don't need anybody else.
Mm.
I always find it weird when they say that this great apostasy happened. So my thing is, okay, so you go out and you make all these disciples, and then apparently they're not very good because they don't really disciple anybody else. They just all become apostate. They just let Christianity die. None of them really like fight for the faith. So the apostles really did a crappy job. Is that what you're telling me? Because somewhere along the line, everybody failed. So who's
Yeah.
to blame here for this mass apostasy that happened as soon as the apostles died?
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, this is I got a video with Shirley coming out about that, because that's in their new pamphlet where they're talking about how God, they made some big thing about how God preserved the Bible and preserved it. And that was my question. I said, if you're telling me someone tampered with it, there was a time where God wasn't preserving it.
Good point.
Because if he preserved it, no one could take his name out of it. But if you're telling me someone took his name out of it, he's not preserving all the time. There's a point.
Well, the Jehovah's Witness God is so weak. I mean, he doesn't know everything. He's not all powerful. He's not sovereign.
He's
he lets
taking days off.
It's just, like the God they've imagined, and my fiance, she doesn't like when I say Jehovah doesn't exist. And I'm like, well, the real Yahweh does exist. The real Jehovah does, but their version of it is someone's imagination.
Yeah, you got PTO.
Yeah, and it is sad
PTO
that
days.
this is a fantasy of someone made up. And they even went so far as to say, well, he's not as great as I imagined him to be. He's less now because I can now. It's always a cult tactic, right? You lower God, you move yourself up.
Yeah. So on the screen, this is what I was talking about with Austin. This is what he messaged me. And he said, is a live studio done for monetary gain? And I said, oh, no, but do you want to donate to the channel? You want to donate? If you want to donate, you can donate. I had a nice donation coming or something. And he said, oh, I wasn't sure. And he said, okay, people just donate to have it promoted. And I said, yes, there are many ways the money is used. That the people donate, promotion, help the channel grow, equipment, etc. The goal is to help the channel grow to get the gospel out. So he said, oh, I got it, cool. So then he must have went back with George, and then that's when they made this discussion to say, you know, we don't want to come on because we don't want to make you money. So this is where it kind of came from.
Yeah.
But I forgot there is a way. So maybe, but like their reasoning is so bad. You know, it's just like, you know, I don't need them. It's not like, oh, I need them for content. I don't, you know, I don't need them. Like God, I put in God's hand to bring witnesses, to have discussions, and you know, I'm gonna depend on God for that. You know, that's why it's just like, you know, I don't know. It's what the people want. The people want them back on because, like you said, you gave me a good Dave. You were saying like I can change it where I don't make money off the video.
Yeah,
I don't really care. I'm not making $1,000 off the video.
Yeah, at least off of his, I think you're able to demonetize.
Yeah, you are
those particular videos. If that's
the
case,
yeah,
not because all they're looking for is an excuse. They're looking for an excuse to break up dialogue in order to say, well, you can't say that we weren't willing to speak. We put forth these parameters that these hurdles that you didn't want to hop over. And because you didn't want to hop over them, there you go. And that's kind of like, I'm like, all right, well, we can work around that. I mean, but we still want you to, when we work around these particular parameters that you got, please come back with letting us know about this scholar. Please let us know about your lesbian Revelation 14. The fact that is this person that you're presenting that has been disassociated. Is he lying? Are you calling him a liar? I mean, all of these points that you just want to keep hopscotching over and not answering them, please just make sure when you come, you're willing and waiting to provide those particular answers. But yeah, let them know you're able to demonetize particular videos. You don't have to have the whole channel platform to get, if they're just worried about their actions and how it somehow changes, then I think there's other ways around it as well. So
yeah, okay. And I told him I was going to talk, with you to see see what the people want. Do the people want them back on?
True that.
Because
I think
fascinating. Yeah.
Let me see. My boy sent me something too.
If they still think we can have some good discussions with them, I'll talk to them. We can do that. But with me, I don't mind not having them on. I don't care about like bringing them back on because we see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what the people want.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to do it, I'll set it up and we can do it.
Well, this is such good content, not just for Christians, but also for witnesses that are questioning. Because to hearing this argumentation from George, no honest-hearted witness is going to listen to this and think George has got a point. They're not. I mean, at the early parts of Friday's debate, when he's saying, God, we're talking about patience, and God doesn't run out of patience. Oh, sure he does. Like these ridiculous things of, God's love is conditional. I mean, which they had to change his mind on, or with the lesbian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, any good debate is not so much for the other person. You're not usually going to convince the person, but it's those watching. And if anything, this is going to not just give Christians something they need, but give those questioning witnesses, because there are going to be a lot of them. They're coming. The Watchtower is losing people by strides now. And most of these people are becoming atheists. I mean, the Watchtower does a very good job at making good atheists, unfortunately. And Pew Research said 90% of people that leave Mormonism or Jehovah's Witnesses become atheists or agnostic. And to have sort of a net that's able to kind of catch these people and say, no, this is what really the gospel teaches. This is really what truth is. You've been lied to. This is not what the Bible actually teaches. Let me try to reorganize this for you. I mean, that's definitely kind of the biggest goal I can see that this channel can bring.
Amen. That's what the guy had said too. He said that I know that in the coming 12 months, several thousands of my brothers and sisters will be disfellowshipped on the basis of laws created by the governing body. I cannot continue to simply look the other way when the governing body definitely has refused to even consider my findings in an objective way. My only remaining recourse was to publish the book. That's someone, their conscience is telling them like this isn't truth. You got to speak up. So okay. So I'll set that up so we can get them back on.
You can always create another channel real quick that's similar to your name and just shoot them over there unless demonetized. That they know is not going to get any subscribers or anything. Just an idea. I mean, there's ways to do it for them to say, we know it's an excuse.
I'll do it on mine because I'm not, I'm not a full-time streamer,
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do it for the money,
Yeah.
So if I do get some money, if I like I said, like promotion or equipment to make the stream better, if I need to, and things I want to do in the future, like I want to go places and actually witness there. I want to go to Ohio. I want to do things. I want to take trips, road trips, try to hit other witnesses everywhere, So those things is what the money would be saved for, and just for the channel to push the gospel. But I'm not making no money off this. And that was never the goal. It was just a blessing that, I have brothers and sisters around the world that want to support in a way. Because they appreciate the content and what we're bringing and how we're helping. So, that's a blessing that you can help people. And, the goal is the gospel.
Amen.
So I'll do it for that.
There it is. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to end it there. It's definitely. I hope people can see that, had to expose that. I had to expose that because that's, you know, watch the sources that you're sending to people. Make sure you're quoting people that are, you know, because witnesses have no problem quoting people that aren't witnesses because they don't have scholars for themselves. So they, even the Watchtower does all the time. They quote something and sneak it in there. The scholar said this, his commentary, you know, commentator said this, knowing that, you know, they don't truly probably agree with all their beliefs. So that's the thing about witnesses. Keep your foot on the neck and try to make them prove what they're saying.
Amen.
Like Matt Slick said it good. You know, you got to make them prove it.
That's right.
Surely did.
Yeah. So what was it? I got to figure out when I'm gonna do another live show. But yeah, I'll be in contact with you two when I set this up with them.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right, brothers. It's been a blessing.
All right, guys.
Everybody, have a good night.
You too, man. You guys,
right, God bless.
Later.
All right, now.
God was with me through it all.